I had the good luck with the Chevy S10 that I owned for 12 years. Bought it. It was a 2000. I bought it in 2006. Finally got rid of it in 28. Bought it in 2000. So 2002. With 50,000 miles on it. And I got it for like $400. So
right.
I'm not gonna say no to a car like that for that cheap. So I drive the piss out of the thing for like 3 more years. Put about another 60,000 miles on it, and then I can start driving a truck for a living, and it just sits and rots in the parking lot at Schneider.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing: those Dodge trucks. I had another one. You'll like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Brand new, and it been a piston rod. Brand spanking new.
Mm-hmm.
Automatic transmission, same problem. So I go there to pick it up. I said, no, I ain't dealing with this shit. I'm just going to take a flatbed.
Yep.
So I got up there and I pull up with the flatbed, and luckily I brought the big one. He's loaded.
Oh dear.
So I hook him up and everything, get ready to winch him up, and of course I have the same problem. It goes back into park because it was a fender bender, but because it was detected, it won't. Every time you take a foot off the brake, it automatically puts it back in park.
Yep.
So I shift the transfer case in neutral, and boom, the e-brake pops on.
Yep.
I ain't crawling under the fucking truck. So I said, okay. I walk up to the front to my truck, grab that winch. Got a 10,000 pound winch on that big one. Started cranking. Drug that motherfucker.
And just yank it up.
Drug that motherfucker. Snapped the e-brakes off.
Yeah.
Got up there. Took it out of took the transfer case back out of neutral. Tied it down. Get to Dodge. Dodge calls us up. You owe us e-brakes. I said, no, I don't. I says, if you can show me how to load that truck without those e-brakes locking, I'll pay for them. What do you mean? I says, because you cannot disengage the e-brakes. Every time you take your foot off the brake, when you disengage the e-brakes, they relock because the computer detected it was an accident. I said, the transmission goes right back into park. I had to put the transfer case in neutral just to move the truck.
Yep.
Well, we'll call you back. So, they go back to it and everything. They call us back. They say it's under warranty. Don't worry about it. So I got pissed off and I called Dodge. Yeah, this is, so-and-so with XL Towing. I said, you need to figure out how to help us tow your vehicles. So they give me to another rep, and then they give me to another rep, and then they give me... Finally, a guy says, well, we're not going to change anything, and everything else. I says, then you guys are going to have to eat the cost of damages. Yep. Oh, no, if you damage a vehicle, you're responsible. I says, no, I am not. I says, 1, they've already tried that. 2, when you sign that bill, that tow ticket of mine, on there it states that I'm not responsible for damages due to winching.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you didn't winch it out anywhere, did you? I said, yeah, I winched it up on the bed of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's different. I said, no, it's not. Winching is winching. I'm sorry, it falls under the same category. Take it to court if you don't like it. I says, we are not paying for those damages. And I says, we will sit there, and I am not endangering my drivers or anything else. If they've got a Dodge truck and they need to load it on a flatbed, they're just to hook it and drag it. That's all there is to it. Deal. Have a nice day. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I still have my contracts with Dodge. Dodge calls us all the time to tow their trucks.
I would view it... obviously I'm not a car manufacturer, but I would view it as rather embarrassing if I had to constantly call in towing companies to tow my vehicles.
Ford's the worst. Chevy I don't get a whole lot of, but Ford's all the time, especially on their new diesels.
The new diesels are garbage. all the way around.
You
I mean-
wouldn't believe how many people will buy a new pickup with a diesel engine, drive it for 2 weeks, have to have it towed back in and the engine replaced.
Yep. I know exactly why.
Those 6.7s are trash.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and they should just left it to International to make their engines. But of course, they're not any better now.
I was going to say the problem is that the phase in for these emissions controls was so poorly thought out and poorly and aggressively planned that no engine manufacturer can keep up with it. So, you know, we've had the 2-part or 3-part emissions controls now for almost 10 years now. Hey, what's up?
Hey guys, I'm going to play Blackbreak. See you guys later.
Take it easy.
Okay, later. Yeah.
By
I
the
mean,
way, if we're bothering any guys, speak up. We'll move to a different channel.
Yeah, Jack and I are happy to move. You know, we don't want to dominate the channel, but we. Excellent.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
I've got a International 4700 with the Max Force,
Yeah.
and it had a little over 100,000 miles on it. Now those Max Forces are supposed to run 1 million miles, and I'm sitting there with my Max Force in there, and it just got harder and harder and harder to start, and I kept losing some power. What the hell's going on? Took it into International. Yeah, took it into International, and it's got a roller cam in it, and they use plastic keepers to keep the lifters aligned.
Ooh.
The plastic keeper disintegrated. The roller turned sideways and wore cam lobe off.
Oh.
I said, we'll replace the cam.
Share it again.
Well, the cost of replacing the cam was only $3,000 less than an entire long block, brand new.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So
A $20,000 block, and it's almost $17,000 to replace a cam.
yeah.
I said, you are kidding me. I said, well, International needs to pay for this. It's a manufacturer's defect. I said, there's nothing I can do to reach in there and snap that thing. International told me to take a flying leap.
Yep.
And of course, you know, it's not worth taking him to court and lose my business because I spent all my money. So I said, that's fine. I said, I got a little Caterpillar engine fit in here just fine. Oh, you can't do that. I said, watch me. Big old smile on my face. I said, watch me. I said, I got a 3126 Cat sitting right over there in that wrecked truck that runs beautifully.
You know,
Sacrifice would be bad.
I mean, whether it's a Caterpillar, those old Caterpillars run beautiful. I will say
Forever.
the new Detroit diesels,
And
the
these would be safe for you to get in the
DD13s,
turret
even the
now.
15s, they run amazingly well, and
You know why?
you can get a new one. Yeah.
You know, they're designed by Caterpillar.
We made it.
Uh huh.
Caterpillar got with Detroit with the Series 60s.
Yes.
And basically, it was pretty much a Caterpillar engine with a Detroit label.
So let me back up a little bit for Redhead
So these-
and
these
so on,
fucking
who
C7,
probably don't know
88
these things.
are
But
fucking
so
ridiculously
Detroit
powerful.
Diesel is an diesel engine manufacturer. Like Caterpillar is really an engine manufacturer as well as a construction equipment manufacturer.
Not only does it do initial damage when you shoot them, it does splash damage on top of that.
And Detroit Diesel Series 60s were iconic. Like, when were they introduced?
shooting
In
forward,
early
On
1990s?
top of having
Yeah.
4 people, everything
Yeah,
will
okay.
die.
So, from the early 90s,
Each
all the
turret
way up
has
until
4
2008,
So GG for anything that's coming after us.
when they introduced the DD15, you know, because the Series 60 couldn't comply with the tightening regulations on emissions. That engine was iconic. Literally everyone had one. They were the most widely used engine in the trucking industry. Every fleet had them. And they were stupid easy to service.
Perfect design.
Oh yeah.
Just a lot like the B model cats.
Yep. I ran one as a company driver for about 8 years, and I could find no fault with the engine. Plenty of fault with the company I drove for, but no fault with the engine. Detroit Diesel has come out with some really astonishingly awesome engines. Cummins has a much more mixed history.
Engage whatever you want to engage. Just handle
14s were amazing.
Powerhouse.
I mean, they just ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. Their ISX, which the ISX was a direct replacement for the N14s, or was there another series in between?
Well, there's 4 series of the ISX.
Yeah.
So the ISX itself was the direct replacement, but they have 4 different series of the ISX, which have different heads, different ejection systems, things of that sort.
So the original ISX was introduced in 2005, and compared to any other engine at the time, it was garbage. Yeah, I mean, it had a lot of problems.
Alright, that's one supercharger left.
And at the same time, every year the emission standards got tighter, and tighter. I mean, because every 3 years the emission standards were changing from 2008 or 2004, 2008, 2010. Yeah.
Well,
by the time.
These engines are something that the ones that I had a lot of fun with are the 2-stroke Detroit diesels.
Okay, I see. I never got to drive one of those.
Yes, you had the 8V71s. You had they sounded like they were running twice the RPM they really were, because they fired twice as often. Because they fire every time the piston goes up and fires. There's no pump stroke in there. Where you're pumping exhaust out and fuel in. But every stroke is a compression stroke. There is no intake valves. It's vented at the bottom of the cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
And the engine cannot run without a supercharger. This is where the 8V71 or 6V71 supercharger people used to put on hot rod cars came from. Was the 6V71 Detroit diesel and the 8V71 Detroit diesel.
Right.
We'll continue the mission since it is time.
But the engine will not run without a supercharger, because it has to force that fuel mixture in. You would either run them wide open or shut them down.
Right.
You know, they were designed to run wide open, and that was it. Because what they were doing is they were pumping that diesel mixture into the crankcase and into the bottom of the cylinders, and every time that piston would come up, it'd fire.
Right.
And that's where the air was coming. And of course, they had the injectors right at the top there. And people didn't know how to seal them properly and everything, so they leak oil like a son of a bitch if you didn't know how to seal it. They didn't have a lot of torque, but they were high horsepower. I had an old 1978 Peterbilt that had a 8V92 Detroit, which is 92 cubic inches per cylinder. And they drink fuel like crazy, but by golly, I would come out of a pit with 110,000 pounds and an end dump. My front wheels would be 3 feet off the ground, all the way up.
Alright, I'm gonna pause up again.
And it just roared. When you get a chance sometime, listen to listen to an 8V71 or 12V71 fire off on YouTube and run. They sound like a hot rod from hell. But I used to run those all the time, and they were a lot of fun. And like I said, you kept the RPMs up, you run the hell out of it. The opposite of a cat, where you keep the RPMs low.
I was going to say, yeah, you definitely don't. That's the last thing you want to do with a long stroke engine like a cat.
Yeah. Well, there was a friend of mine when he was alive. He used to build racing trucks, and he used the two-stroke Detroits for his racing engines. And the cool thing about the Detroit two-strokers were, if I wanted to make a 16 V71, I can take the cranks and tie them together on two 8V71 blocks, and I'd have a 1671 engine.
Nice.
They were very... Detroit designed them that way because they used them on a lot of big equipment, like even on marine equipment, things of that sort, where they needed high horsepower. They didn't want to have to build a separate engine for that. So, in fact, sometime look up Pissed Off Pete on, that's one of, what's his face's on the Tonight Show, one of his cars.
Alright.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no
Jay
need to
Leno.
research now.
Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, one of his cars. Pissed Off Pete. And listen to them rev the engine on that thing. And the engine sounds like it's revving twice as fast as it really is. So, but yeah, it's pretty wild.
Landing.
Yeah, we're going
Now,
to the hangar.
one
to pick up
engine
Dingo.
that I really liked, it'll run up to 2,400 RPM, is the VT903. It's a V8 Cummins.
It's too wide with the turrets out, isn't it?
And the VT903, we used to have them in our patrol boats. And they did put them in trucks. And that engine would run like a bat out of hell. It was a direct competitor to the 8V92s. Of course, the truck I had on it had an 8V92, which had two 6V71 blowers on it, and it had 4 turbochargers on top of that.
I was with him.
I was pumping a little over 1,100 horse to the ground.
It might be if I'm getting quiet. If I'm quiet here, I'm trying to back into a parking spot.
Oh, you're there. Good.
I was able to find a parking spot for,
Sweet.
well, of sorts. It's not really a parking spot, but it'll serve.
It'll serve. Do you have to pay there?
Nope. No. Actually, I took the precaution of paying for a parking spot a wee bit down the road, but I don't want to drive that far out of route if I can avoid it. And because there is a free parking spot open here, I am taking this one. Is it a dirtbag move? Yes. Will I do it anyways? Yes.
Are you tired? Yes. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've gone to sleep in my truck 20 miles from home because I couldn't go any further.
Yeah.
You know. So basically, you know, if I need to pull over, I don't give a shit if it's on an on-ramp. I'm going to pull over. And the problem is, more drivers need to do that so we don't fall asleep on the wheel.
Well, I know exactly who to blame for that. Greedy fucking trucking companies. Greedy carriers. They teach their drivers to kill themselves because miles is money.
Yeah. Well, I've actually broken my lease with a few companies because of that. I said, you know, I'm running the speed limit. This is as far as I can go in this many hours. I'm pulling in. Well, we need you to go. No, sorry. Well, then we don't need you anymore. I said, that's fine. I said, I keep the load till I get paid. You can't do that. Watch me. I said, I will find somebody else. I don't care. There's enough people out there desperate for good drivers that I'll always find somebody.
Yep.
I had one company try to kick me out of my own truck and hire a driver and put in it.
Yeah. That's unfortunately I've seen a lot of
I'll let you know when they get any guns.
a lot of ICs now. The new, especially the new guys,
How about everybody
because
get
nobody
guns?
ever told them that you never buy a truck from the man you drive for. They're driving a company truck and paying for the privilege.
Yep.
It's so sad. It's so
Well,
sad.
you know, I sat there and, you know, my truck's paid for. And the title's in my name. And you're going to hire someone to put in it, you're going to go to jail. I told them that. I says, if somebody else walks up to my truck, I'm going to beat the shit out of them. Then I'm going to call the cops, have them arrested for attempting to steal my truck. And then I'm going to have the cops arrest you for stealing. Boy, we have a lease. I don't give a shit what you have. I own the truck. I have a right to say whether the wheels turn or not.
the term owner-operator, nobody really understands what the term owner-operator means anymore.
Nah.
Nobody does, because it's a shocking. Okay, so ICs have been actually falling as a percentage of truck drivers for a long time now, because frankly a lot of our competitive advantage is gone.
Yeah.
On the electronic logs and shit like that, but a shockingly small percentage of ICs actually own their trucks. Most guys are on leases.
Well, here's the funny thing. I was leased to a company, and I picked up a trailer that had a piece of heavy equipment on it, and I had a chain snap and the equipment shifted. So I had to pull over. I had to call them up and say, we need to get somebody out here to move this equipment back in place. Well, just bring it. I said, no, I can't bring it. You're going to bring it. No, I can't bring it. So I'm sitting there, and I said, no, that's not going to happen. I says, this isn't moving until the load is safe. So they had to call somebody to come out there, and they had 2 heavy wreckers come out there, move it back into position so I could rechain it. Got it rechained. Got up into Pennsylvania. I'm on my way to Maine. They said, we need you to come by the office. Okay. They had another driver standing there ready to take my truck. I looked at the driver and said, I own that truck. What do you think's going to happen? He looked at them and said, I don't want any part of it. They were going to strand me. They told me they didn't have to give me a ride. They were going to, I live in Denver. They were going to strand me in Pennsylvania. Yep. Find your own way. Oh, and by the way, we're not paying you.
Yep. Look what happened to the drivers who work for Aero Transportation. They got stranded all over the United States when the company went belly up, and the CEO was embezzling money out of the company the whole time. Or Celadon. Celadon went belly up. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year, yeah. Shortly after COVID started, Celadon went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And Celadon was charging some of their ICs $4,000 a month. To drive. Yeah, later.
Take it easy.
It turns out that I discovered that Prime Inc. does the same thing to all their drivers.
Yep.
CR England does the same thing to all their drivers. It's increasingly common at Schneider and JB Sled and Werner.
And Wiener?
Yep.
Wiener trucking.
Yep. Wiener trucking.
But, well, here's the thing, Well, I sat there and they were going to do that, and I told the guy, he says, you touch my truck, I'll call the cops and I'll have you for grand theft. Driver says, looked at the other people, says, I ain't touching it, and walked away.
Right.
They told me, we're suing you. I said, okay. And I went out to my truck, got in the truck, and drove out. And they were trying to wave at me and stop me and everything else. And I just, if you got in front of me, I'm going to run over you. Drove out with the load, went down to the truck stop. They can't chase me down the truck stop with the cops. I looked at the cop and I says, this is a civil suit. Cop says, what do you mean? I said, I own the truck. I own the trailer. And I own the load until I get paid for it. There we go. Cop looked straight at him and says, he's right. He says, do you need me for anything? I said, not unless they want to throw a swing at me. Cop looked at him and said, you guys leave. So I sat there. And so basically after the second day, they sat there and sat there. Of course, this company's calling them, where's their load? And they were telling the company, I stole the load.
Yeah.
So, but after the second day, I looked at the freight bill and I called his contact. And they said, where's the load? I said, I have it and it's safe. I says, you will not pay them, you will pay me directly, otherwise you won't get the load. And I said, and he's like, well, what's going on? And I explained everything to him. And he said, you're kidding me. I says, do you want the load? He goes, absolutely. I said, are you going to pay for them to recenter the load after that chain broke? He says, absolutely. Do not worry about a thing. We'll cover everything. I said, okay. I'm on my way. Left the truck stop, had enough fuel. I got up there. I delivered it. They paid me. They filled my truck up. They thanked me profusely and stated they'll never work with that broker ever again.
Alright, Travis, this morning.
I says, well, if you need something, find a good broker. I'll be willing to haul it for you. They said, you got it. And I hauled a few loads for them and everything. But, you know, I told them, I said, you know, Maine's a long way from home. And they said,
Maine is a long way from Denver.
They said, I understand, but thank you for all the help. I said, no problem. And I went on my way.
Just push to the next.
You know, I do a lot of regional.
Hey?
I
We
told
wanna hang out or push to the last target.
my people that you will, you know, unless it's under a special case, you are not to drive more than 10 hours from home.
Yep.
Because you will not spend more than one night away from home. Period. So we have families and everything else.
Oh,
And
there we
so
go.
there's no need.
Alright, we'll kill everything here.
I said, unless it's a special circumstance.
Right.
No longer said that, then I get a call from ARI. You know those deli sandwich trucks on those Isuzu NPRs?
Yeah, I do.
Engage whatever you want
Okay.
to engage.
Well, we've got one in Denver, and we need you to take it to Rapid City, South Dakota. I
It's a
said,
bit of a drive. Yeah.
I said, really? I said, why don't they drive it? Well, they don't have enough drivers. I said, do you know how much it's going to cost for me to tow it up there? And they go, no, what's the price? I says, give me a minute. I calculated the round trip and mileage and the haul itself and everything. And I says, you're better off shipping it on a truck that's heading that way that has room on his trailer. It's cheaper. Well, we need it up there immediately. I said, well, this is how much it's going to cost you.
Alright,
And I charged him like, well, I think it was $3,300 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a lot of money just to drive up and back. He goes, do it. I said, okay. I said, give me your name and employee number.
Are you in the front
did.
left turn half?
And I says, I'll take care of it. So it was an evening. I said, but I'm not picking up till tomorrow morning. He said, okay. So I get over there in the next morning and there's nobody there. And I says, where's the truck? So he calls the deli service up and everything. He says, it's inside the building, but there's nobody here. He says, I'll find out where the key is. And I thought, they hid the key. Well, I'll find it, no problem. So I walk around the building and I see what looks like one of these big rat traps, these black plastic rat traps they put around warehouses.
Yep.
Walked over, picked the sumbitch up, sure enough, key was right under it.
Yep.
So I get up, I get in the building. You know, they'd already given me the alarm code. I turned the alarm off, I opened the door, I pulled the truck out, closed the doors, turned the alarm back on, lock it up, put the key back and everything else. I get the truck loaded and I pull out and on the highway, and I'm starting up the highway, they call me back. Yeah, they told me where the key was. It is. I said, don't worry, I already found it, got the truck loaded, I'm on my way.
Right.
He goes, you found the key? I said, yeah, they don't hide it very well.
Right.
So I figured I'm going to take my 4700
Okay, we made it.
because It is, yeah, it's over 26,000 pounds, but scales don't usually bother me because I'm a rollback tow truck.
Yep.
So I just jumped in the truck, took off, drove straight up there, dropped that sumbitch off, turned around and drove straight back into Denver that evening.
Yep.
So it was a long run,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but it was a 14-hour round trip. Illegal as hell, but a lot of fun.
Getting ready to move to the next target.
I drive by the
Yeah.
way scales, just kind of wave at him as I go by and keep going.
Yeah. I last time I delivered an oil tank. I delivered motor oil out to Rapid City, South Dakota, to an oil distributor out there.
There's nothing out there.
Not really. No. No. It's a long, empty trip. My truck was in the shop, so I was borrowing a company truck. No fucking APU, no fucking inverter, no fucking fridge, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is the last time I'll ever do this.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a week in that fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I won't do that. There's one thing I won't do is slip seat trucks.
Yeah.
I've become much more resistant to it as after I got my own. Even the previous carrier I leased to, and their trucks, after that first batch that I told you about earlier, which were garbage,
Yeah.
they wised up and they bought some absolutely spectacular trucks. T700s with mid-roofs
Mm-hmm.
and an actual diesel APU, which, was real nice to have. Pack RMX motors, and the Pack RMX has come a long way since 2012 when they were introduced.
My favorite truck I had was a 1976 Marmon with a 3208 cab.
See, I've heard great things about Marmon, but they don't make them anymore, and
Nope.
I've seen like 2 of them in my life.
They still got the Marmon factory here in Denver with Marmon above the door.
No shit.
Yep. But yeah, every truck
Alright,
is
here we go.
custom built. The driver goes in
Interesting.
and they measure the driver like they're measuring you for a suit. And they build the truck around the driver. But
I might want to think about doing something like that next time I buy a truck, because this Kenworth's nice, but
yeah.
when
Well,
this one finally shits the bed, I might go looking.
yeah. Go to Canada to buy your truck. Or at least have it delivered to Canada. You can get around a few things you can't get around here.
Oh, you mean for like options? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
basically what I did with it. Oh, go ahead.
I know Kenworth has a factory up in St. Catharines, up there,
Facing them.
But it's all pack
west
car
of
anyway.
Toronto. Yeah, I know. It's. I actually got my my KW built in Chillicothe, Ohio, at their factory
Yeah.
down there. But it would have been, and I went back and forth. After the truck was built, they couldn't find anyone to bring it up to the factory and say, like, well, fuck, I have a CDL. Let me go down there and pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't let you do that. Listen,
Like if I bought and paid for the truck, I have a right to go pick it up. It's mine.
yeah.
Mine.
Well, and I've made the mistake of quitting as a company driver at Schneider for a month before, because I didn't understand that when they said they were going to build it on the 26th, that it might not be done for like several weeks.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, my truck,
yeah.
I've got to get it back on the road. My old Pete. I've got to get it back on the road again. But, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put private plates on it.
That's not a bad idea.
That way I don't have to have a CDL to drive it.
Uh-huh.
And then what I'm going to do with after that is I'm going to have all kinds of fun.
Now,
It's going to be my new
for
camper.
that mission,
Yeah.
I feel that we're comfortable.
Basically,
I
I'm
can
going to have, those, basically
another
the,
hand-
like
like
the
a hammerhead
Allied
mission
van
where you
lines,
fight
the
hammerheads.
double drop dry vans,
Yes. Yes.
where you got
I'm
that
there for
really low, with that really low deck in the side and everything.
Yep.
Cool
Yep.
thing about it
I
is
know.
they got air jacks in the back that jack the back of the trailer up to the dock. But I'm going to get one of those, and I'm going to build a camper out of it. And in the back 18 feet is going to be my garage to park my car.
Nifty.
So the door's going to come
Literally a
down as a
toy.
ramp,
Yep. Literally a toy hauler. Yep.
so I can drive my car in it. Door races up and closes. Go in the side door, and I got my living quarters.
So I think we should be okay.
I'll be able to travel anywhere I want to travel, and I'm going to laugh in DOT space every time they pull me over. Sorry, this is a private vehicle. Get the hell that way.
Not for hire.
Yep.
All you really need is not for hire on the side of it.
I don't even need that. All I need is private plates.
Yeah.
You know, Colorado, they've got green and white plates. It's not commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And basically,
We're due to hammerhead mission.
That'll do
I
it.
want to see how long it takes with
Oh yeah.
this many people gunning out one to kill a
well, you can't drive this without a commercial driver's license. Yes, I can. Watch me.
Well, it's been
Okay.
it's
I have
been
shared
fun
mission.
talking with
Let
chatting
me
with
know
you tonight,
about
but I
Get some
I am
sleep.
now parked, and I need to get some food. I need to make me some grub. And
I'm gonna
get
share it
some
one more time just to make sure.
sleep. So,
You have a
I
good
got
night.
busy day tomorrow. Thank
Yeah.
you too.
Good night.
You take it
All right.
easy.
Good night, everyone.
Safe trip.
Thanks. You too. Bye bye.
Alright, let's share one more time.
Well, I think I am going to. Well, I don't know. Servers are going to be going down here in a minute.
Okay. So where we're heading is that there's gonna be two groups
It's not worth
of
logging in.
hammerheads in one area. So I'm gonna be fucking launching missiles like a madman. And it's best just to focus one, so all of you shoot the same one. And I'll try to keep the ship moving. It's really not gonna matter though, it's staying slow, so it's gonna bound to get hit, so. I upgraded shields, FR86 is
Alright, I will catch you guys
okay
later.
against laser-based projectiles.
Later.
The good thing about ballistics can have range. That's the one good thing. Usually laser weapons, as long as you keep distance, their damage is negated. Further distance, the less damage laser weapons do. Not the same as ballistic. Alright, manage speed. You're already in. Alright, we have contact right in front. Okay, right off the right side of the ship. We have an entire army of them after us.
impressive.
You are clear to launch. You are clear to launch.
Yellow. Not much. Yourself?
Not much. Just falling through an atmosphere for shits and giggles.
Atmosphere, shits, giggles. Fair enough. I'm in the process of having very, very smelly colonists because I'm filling my Olympic-sized swimming pool. If it ever does become a thing that people are actually interested in, I'm set up for Don't Starve.
Cool.
It's just a mod pack that I've already prepped. All everyone has to do is go grab it. And then I will guide you through the creation of the server in under 5 minutes. Assuming you'd be the one hosting if and when. But yeah, that's ready to go if interest is still there. Did you have an extra copy that you thought you had?
So I remember having it. Here it is.
Did you like the way I described it to Jen? It's like Stardew, but everything's trying to kill you.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
How goes the free fall? Oh, you've landed.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Holy.
How?
Oh, I was doing missions with somebody, and then it went south, like most things that you try to do in this game goes.
Mm-hmm.
No, it actually went really well. It was fun. those fuckers pulled the plug early. 10 minutes early. Those fuckers. Ugh.
You talked to Eric already?
He's been chatting at my stream,
I see.
which is about to go dead, considering Star sits in maintenance for the next hours.
Hmm.
Hallelujah, backend database work.
So what are you up to then?
I was gonna heat up that thing that I want to eat that has cream cheese icing everywhere.
The buns?
Cinnamon buns, yes, those things.